So much rust. Alright, so we are cranking along, working on this shit box. Working on the Sedan. Getting tired. So the last bit of sheet metal that I'm going to do inside the car is this. And typically what I do is I'll make my front panel, my back panel, but I got to break an edge and then get the shrinker stretcher out. And honestly, it's a pain in the ass. And I'm trying to do this as quick as I can, so I don't know that I'm going to go that route. I have to make it high enough to clear the U-bolts when they're on. And I can't go past here. Yeah, no matter what I do, I need my shrinker stretcher, so let me get the front and back done. That's how I usually do it. Let me get that done first, and then we'll do the top afterwards. So let me get some paper, some chipboard, and we'll get some templates made, and then we'll wrap this up. On to the next thing, whatever that is. Let's see how fast I can do this without making it too ugly. Putting my Sharpie on top of the transmission cross member like this. I'm just transferring it. You can see what I'm doing, right? Going like that, and then I'm going to use the same template for the back. If I were to do the back, I would have done it this way. So like I said, I need to add 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch for the broke edge on the bottom. So I'm going to make 2 of these. So I'm going to do this measurement plus 1/2 inch plus probably another 3/8 to 1/2 inch for clearance on the U-bolts. So I'm going to add, so I'll go an inch higher. That should give me plenty of room. And again, I'm going to make 2 of these. And we're going to get them broke. We'll get them tacked, boom, boom, front and back. And then we'll build the top. And at that point, I'll have to grab my shrinker and stretcher.
Come around, lay down your telephone. No, we don't know. We think we're broken or alone. Vibrations don't match. Limitations are a fact.
Okay. I'm just going to run this into the car and check and make sure I have good clearance. And again, what I'm going to do is when I transfer this over to the sheet metal, I'm going to keep it a 1/2 inch off the edge of the sheet metal. Actually, no, I don't need to. No, I don't need to. No. Let me go break this real quick in my brake. Alright, so that's what it's going to look like. It's nice with this chipboard, you can put it in a finger brake or a box pan brake, sheet metal brake. And it kind of holds an edge, you know? Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. Beauteous Maximus. All right, let's make 2 of them. Well, this is a better spot for you guys, I think. Is it? Yeah. I think so.
Blow me down from this pedestal. The younger me has been ready. I'm shedding flakes of gold. These layers of stuff on me. I've gone from rough to soft.
get those put in the car, tacked in place. You know what? I think I'm gonna do yeah, you know what? Yeah. I have to do self-tappers with these because I need to be able to remove them. Let me grab some, oh, my battery's down. Let me switch out the battery, grab some self-tappers, and we'll get those installed. Howdy folks, we're back. So, one in the front, one in the back. Pretty self-explanatory. Nothing fancy. I'm gonna grab some self-tappers. Throw some self-tappers on there. No, not too shabby. It's a little higher than what I wanted it to be, but it's nice to have a little extra clearance so you know you're not going to run into any issues with the U-bolts.
You're spreading, let me steer you. Now let me steer you while you shoot. What's the essence in every lesson? When uphill is a blessing.
So now what I need to do is do a template for this piece here, and go up and over, and then that's it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. And what I'll do is I'll break the edge on each side, so it'll go over and break. And then I got to use my shrinker and then stretcher on the end. So let's do that, and I'll show you how I do it. Okay, so I'm not really going to measure. I'm not going to do any template. I'm just going to measure it. So it's 5.5. And then obviously the top will be whatever I make it. I can, you know, move this in and out. So we're going to do 5.5 inches plus I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch. Do a 1/4 of an inch edge. So what I'll do is I'll break it, and it's going to be a flat C. At that point, I just got to start shrinking this edge to curl it. It's not going to take too long. And then at the end here, I'll cut the edge off the ends where it's going to sit flat, and then I'll weld this all the way up and over. And like I said, there'll be probably 2 more screws, so this entire panel will be removable. But I'm not gonna add them now. I'm just gonna leave these the way they are. So 5.5. plus 1/4 plus 1/4, so 6 inches. I'm gonna do a 6-inch piece, and it's gotta be, I can make it as long as I need to and then cut off the excess afterwards, but I'll at least get a rough idea of what it's gonna be. So 32 inches is good. So 6 inches by 32 inches, nice and simple, nice and quick. Now obviously it helps to have these tools, and you don't need these tools to build a car. I didn't have these tools when I first started working on my 29 Sedan. I had a small box pan brake. I didn't have this. I had, you know, just my cutoff wheel and hand snips, and I did everything. I think I did everything pretty good with those tools, but I knew I wanted to keep building cars, and I figured, you know, I better set myself up with the tools that I need. And I watched other YouTubers, and they had the tools that I wanted, so I did my research and bought them when I could afford them. And it certainly is worth it. Alright. So now I got to cut it down to 32 inches. Ding, ding, ding. Alright, 1/4 inch. What we do is, I'll show you how we have to do it on the brake with such a small measurement. Why I have to do things a little different on the brake than I have been all day. So typically when you break a piece of metal, you have a, you need a bend, you put it in your brake and you create the bend. Well, in a situation like this where it's only a 1/4 of an inch, instead of the metal being outside of the brake, you have to slide the metal all the way in. So the quarter inch tab or the quarter inch piece that you want to bend is out. It needs to be facing out. I'm going to steal this end one. Oh, so close. I don't want to have to move them all. Like I said, when I bought this brake, it was missing. It was missing one of the fingers. I don't exactly know where you can go buy them, so I kind of just deal with it, you know. Slowly lower it. Quarter inch, and bend it. Kind of bounce it a little because it's a little tough sometimes. All right. Same on this side. So that's it. That's what the top piece of my rear crossmember cover looks like. So now what I need to do is grab my shrinker stretcher, which is right next to the camera, and make sure my shrinker jaws are in it, and we're going to get this thing shrunk and put on the car. And that's it. Last piece of metal on the floor for now that I'm going to do until the footwells. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you have measurements essentially going across so you can see, and you want to make sure it's even. So if you stretch it here, you want to make sure you stretch it even on the opposite side of the piece of metal. So you'll have a mark here and a mark there, and then a mark here and a mark there. So it could be every inch, every 2 inches, it could be every half inch, it could be every quarter inch. Depending on what type of an angle you need to create will determine how close you need to make your marks and how much you actually are going to either shrink or stretch it. This is a very gradual sweep, so I shouldn't really need to shrink a whole lot. So I'm going to probably do it every 2 inches, and then till I get to probably somewhere in this area, but I'll keep checking it as I go. So when I start to get close, or if I go too far, I'll have to stretch it. But once I'm getting kind of close, I'll be able to kind of tell and make some marks of where I need to start sweeping it back out this way. So I'll end up having to stretch this end where it starts to go flat. You'll see. Follow along. I'm going to go make some marks so I know where exactly I need to focus the stretching on. And get the center line. Center line, so you know where your starting point, your center mark is. So just shy of 30. So just shy of 15. So that's right there. And this one is 32, I believe. I measured 32, but I cut it 33, yep. So 15, 16 and a half. Probably go grab a square. So that's what it's starting out as. Hold on. Sorry guys. So that's what it's starting out as. It's so hard to film in these cars, you know? So that's how it starts. And then we're going to swoop it down to the flat. Let me go grab a square or speed square, straight edge, and start making my lines so I know where I'm going to shrink it. And then we'll get to shrinking. Okay, so I'm starting here, got my center line. You guys will be able to see it as it's doing its thing. You'll see it. It'll shrink right away. Now, I'm sure the Eastwood shrinker stretcher stand is a little bit better than this, but I wouldn't know because I don't have one. So, shrink. I'm just centering it on the shrinking dies. Just one pump, one kick as I go, each one. So you want to make sure all your marks are even so it curves evenly. So that's the first round. So I'm going to do another round because I know that's not enough.
Come around, lay down your telephone. Oh, we don't know, we think we're broken or alone. It's not true. Not for me, not for
Alright guys, I'm kind of closing in on where it needs to be. Just slowly creeping into it. I ran up to the house, grabbed a quick bite to eat with Allie. She just got home from work. And coming back down. Oh, I got a hole in that glove. Finishing up this last piece, and then that's going to be it for me for tonight. I kept going with the shrinker until I got the shape. It was a crown. And then I switched over and put the stretching dies in and started stretching the ends to get it to curve back out. And I'm pretty close. So I'm just going to do a little bit more with the stretcher. And I think she'll be good to go. I'll get it close enough where if I have to manipulate it by hand, I can. Or with a hammer and get it in place, you know. Checking it as I go. So once I get it, that's my center mark. I think I'm basically there. So what I gotta do is I have to trim these ends down and then we'll get it tack welded in place.
oh, we don't know, we think we're broken or alone. It's not true. Not for me, not for you. What's the essence? Life is so easy spent. Nothing makes sense. See, what's the essence? Life is so easy spent. Nothing makes sense.
Alright, so this is what it looks like. May need a little bit of hammer work on a couple of the edges down here. I'm going to clean it up after the fact, but I want to get it in the car.
When nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense.
Alright, so you can see what I got done. I got the crossmember hump put in. I'm happy with it. It came out good. And now the next thing I got to do is the gas tank mount, get the seats mounted. I probably won't mount the seats yet because, you know, with the steering wheel and everything, I'm just going to wait. So gas tank's next, and then, I don't know. So today was a good day in the shop. I spent a lot of time in the shop. It's a lot later than I thought it was, to be completely honest with you. I didn't realize how much time I spent in the shop this afternoon. But it was a good day, productive day. Floors are basically wrapped up. Next is going to be gas tank mount, and then I'm going to get right into mocking up a motor and transmission in this car. I'm not going to mount the seats yet because I want to make sure I put them in the right place. I don't want to risk mounting the seats and then having to drill more holes in the future. I'm going to get the motor and transmission set in place where they need to be. I'll get my mounts and brackets and everything all set and done. I have to figure out where my pedal assembly is going to go after that, and then once I get my pedal assembly, I'll get my steering mocked up. Once I get those two components set in place, it's going to kind of tell me where to put the seat. And like I had said, I'm going to basically build the car for me, or maybe someone just a little bit bigger. I'm 5'9". The good stuff, the fun stuff. I actually like doing that. I like the challenge of it. Not a lot of room in these cars, especially when you channel them. And it kind of makes you use your brain, so I kind of like that. I hope everybody's enjoying the build. Definitely got some good feedback on the channel these past couple of weeks. I think everybody is enjoying it. I think a lot of people were surprised to see what I was using to start with, to be honest with you. A lot of people would not take this project on. And this is basically showing you that even if you were to find a pretty rough body, this video series is showing you how to build an old hot rod using not the best parts, starting with not the best body, and hopefully turning it into something pretty cool that you'd be proud of. I'm proud of the work that I'm doing. I think the car is already looking great. I'm happy with the direction that the car is going or headed. I think the next person who, hopefully someone buys the car, I think they'll be happy with it. I hope they'll be happy with it. So this is simply showing you that even if you find a rough body, they can be fixed, they can be saved, and they can be driven again. They can be enjoyed. People love hot rods. Hot rods put smiles on people's faces. I've always said that. Anywhere you go, no matter where it is, when someone sees you drive up in a hot rod, they smile. Or they have a story. And just, they kind of seem to go hand in hand. So I appreciate everybody following along. Thank you so much for the support. And hello to all the new subscribers. There's been a lot of new subscribers recently, so I appreciate those people coming over and hitting that subscribe button. That's pretty cool. And that's pretty much it. So thanks everyone. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.